Flosstube. I'm back. Today is August 9th, 2021, Monday morning. I'm getting ready to go spend the day with my sister and her 3 little grandsons. We are going to stitch together, and she's babysitting the boys, and she's got them all week because their regular babysitter is on vacation. So we have some fun things planned for the boys for this week. So I thought I would get my Flosstube filmed this morning before I go. Looking forward to some days with them. They're a lot of fun. 3 wild little guys. It is overcast here today. It's not hot yet, but it's probably going to get hot. It's supposed to, I think. A little hotter in the middle of the week. We've had some nice days. We've had some, last Thursday we had crazy rain. I love weather of any kind. We had heavy rain all day, mostly all day Thursday. It was lovely. I love weather. Bring it on. What else have I been doing? I harvested some things out of my little garden. Made hodgepodge for supper one night from everything that came from my garden. I was so excited to be able to do that. That's a first for me. So we had potatoes, peas, carrots, beans from the garden. It was awesome. And of course we've had other things too, but that was what went in the hodgepodge. Cross stitch and quilting. Thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed and liked and commented. I'm having a ball. I told you in my last video or one of the other videos that when we reach 250 subscribers we would have a giveaway, and we did that today or last week. So actually the day that I filmed the last Flosstube we hit 250 that day, and now we're well over 300, so I'm going to have a giveaway later in the video. And let's jump right into cross stitch. That's why you're here. I've had 2 FFOs this past couple of weeks, just past couple of days actually. The first one I showed you, I don't know if it was in the last video, I think it was. This was the Primitive Crow by the Elfin Forest. I got the fabric, I got the pattern from Etsy, from the Elfin Forest site, and I'm really pleased with this. This is the first time I've added rickrack to a piece, and I like it very much. I tried a couple different colors and decided I preferred the black. I have 2 pieces of this crow fabric, so I really wanted to get that in there. So I had to make this quite wide to get the crows. Anyway, I'm really pleased. This is sticky board and this is foam board. And I probably will put this on a piece of wood, like if I can find a piece. I still haven't gotten somewhere to try to find a piece. But anyway, and if I find something to put it on, I think I'm going to add a bow and some twigs up here. Not sure, but I've seen another one of I'm pretty sure it's the same designer, but I'm not positive, of a crow that I'm thinking about doing too. So I'm really happy with that. It's cute. I love it. The crow fabric was perfect. I had it in the green and I had it in like a gold, but the green worked better. So anyway, that was a full finish. And this was a start, a finish, and a full finish since I've seen you last. This is one of the crock pillows from, or stitches from Melissa at Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. This is a free chart. She has tons of free charts and they are all so cute, and she's so generous to give them willingly. In the chart, she has it charted for 1869, and I wanted to put a date that meant something to me. So 1892 is the year that my paternal grandmother was born. Fanny Sabin. She was born Fanny Sabin. And she grew up in the Weymouth, Nova Scotia area. And then she married Harry Lewis, and he was my dad's dad. So Grammy lived with my family for 5 years when I was a young girl, and I loved her dearly, and she loved me. So yeah, this is for her. The little crock and the pumpkins, the stars and the vines. I just love it, love it. And I watched, getting a glare. I watched the little pillow tutorial that Christy, I think it's Christy, did from Jab Girl did. And I had never thought of this before, but she makes a seam in the back of her fabric, and she leaves an opening, so you have a nice folded edge there to close. So I tried that this time, really loved how it turned out, and then I covered it with some of the rickrack that I put on the edge of the pillow. This is rickrack that was in my stash of scrapbooking stuff from years ago, but it really worked well with this little pillow. It's got these little green bits on there, really cute. Anyway, so I'm really happy with how that turned out. That is ready for my little fall display. That's what I had for full finishes this time. But I did have this that I wanted to show you. This is a rescue piece, Noah's Ark design. I picked this up at a yard sale for $5, and I've been kicking myself ever since. It was at a farmer's market. It's probably been 3 years ago maybe. They had a whole crate full of finished framed cross-stitch pieces, and they were all mostly $5 to $10, and I should have bought the whole crate. And there were many Noah's Ark pieces. There were probably 8 or 10 pieces, and I only bought one. And the next time I went back to that farmer's market, I was hoping that they would be there again, but they weren't. But anyway, it's so cute, and it's really nicely framed. It looks like it's professionally framed, but I don't know that for sure. Anyway, it has an initial here in the bottom, but I can't tell. It might be TM, TH maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's so cute. I love it. So that's another piece to go on the wall at my house. Previous finishes. This is one of my favorite stitches ever. It's a Silver Creek sampler design, and it is my Christmas list. I love this piece so much. I've seen it done on a blue, and that's why I think it was Priscilla had done this in blue, on blue. Getting a glare there. I changed the car color. I think the car was blue, and where I've done it on blue fabric, I did the car red because I have a weakness for red. But I just love everything about it. The verse, everything about Christmas, the birth of Christ, everything is brought in there that matters to me. And then last year I saw it finished on a sled, an old sled. So I posted on Facebook and asked if any of my friends had an old sled kicking around that they weren't using. And my aunt actually had one, an old red sled that was hers when she was a little girl. And she said I could have it if I wanted it. So I have this sled. It's huge, but I think it'll work. I'll put I'll put it on a few pieces of fabric probably, and get that displayed for this Christmas, maybe, hopefully. Anyway, I love it. And I said it's a Silver Creek sampler design. And I stitched it on, I hand dyed the 28 count Lugana, and I used a Rit dye, a denim maybe, I can't remember for sure, but anyway, love it. That was the only previous finish that I was going to show you today. Whips, I have a few whips to show you, and a couple of new starts. Well, the little cushion was a new start. This piece, I have been wanting to do this for years, and I've been following the proper stitcher, and I think it's the vintage stitcher, but I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put that in the show notes, maybe. And they are doing this as a stitch along. I resisted at first, and the more I watched, the more I wanted to get this started. So I ordered some fabric and I downloaded the pattern. The Proper Stitcher is doing a monthly update on hers on the 25th of every month. So I'm really looking forward to them. They're great. So I did have a start on this. You know, I like to stitch something different every day, 7 days a week. But this one, when I started it, I stitched straight for 2 days, like Friday and Saturday of this week. I stitched a lot on this, and I love it. I just love it. So here is my start on that. I'm doing DMC 895 and I think it's 816 for the red. I don't think I'm going to put in the gold where they call for gold in the pattern. I think I'm going to do everything green and red. So I just love this. And when the Proper Stitcher gives her updates on it, she's going to give tidbits and information about what the different motifs mean. I'm really looking forward to learning more about that. It's very interesting. So, loving this. This is on 28 count mushroom Lugana, and I picked that up from the Stitch Bug in Moncton. It was my first order from the Stitch Bug. She's great. She doesn't have a website going yet, but you can I just messaged her on Facebook, and she was great to work with and sent me pictures back and forth, and I picked up a few things that I've been wanting. So really pleased with her. Another new start was another of Melissa's little Crocs, and I put the year that she had on this one. I tried to find the year that my grandfather was born, the husband of Grammy that I just mentioned, but I couldn't find that, and I was ready to do the date, and I didn't want to wait, so I figured I would just put the 1869, and then I will get the proper date for the next. I'm going to do all of these Crocs, so for his. Anyway, that's pretty cute. I love it. And there, of course, it's a work in progress. There's more to add. The Plum Street Samplers Hello Winter. I worked on this, I think, a couple of days. So I finished this vine and this leaf and this part, and then I started the red flower. And I still haven't decided about what to do about the center of these leaves. Actually, I really like them the way they are. These ones have the gray in there that you can't see it. You can't see the design. But I love the design open here. Not sure what I'll do about that. So anyway, I'm pleased with it. This is on 28 count Heritage Lugana. Very pretty. Love it. And I worked a couple of days, I'm not positive, on the Friendship Sampler, which my sister and I are calling the Sister Sampler. So we're changing the words from friend to sister. So I got a little bit done on this, not a whole lot, but a little. I added the little yellow flowers and the birdhouse, I think that, and some more of the grass. Yeah, really happy with it. It's cute, cute, cute. And that's my Tuesday stitch. And I put a couple of days in on this. A House Is. And this is a design by Stitches Through the Years. This one's really cute. Whoops, so much glare this morning. It's not even sunny. Yeah, so this is where I am with this one. I added quite a bit on this border, and I'm not even sure that I showed this in the last video. So if I didn't, I finished this tree and I finished the house. So I just have a little bit left to do in the border. There's a motif on the above the house here in the pattern. Can't figure out what it is, or if I want to include it. There's two birds and whatever that is. If any of you know what that is, will you please let me know? And I'll decide if I'm going to add it or put something else or what. Anyway, that's on 28 count linen, but it doesn't, there was no name on the package. I think it's an old DMC linen that I got from someone. And one of my favorites, Riley's Harbor. Got quite a bit done on that. I think I stitched 3 days on that. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm really so happy with how it's looking. So as you can see, I've changed almost all of the house colors. And I've got the 3 horses done. I think there's only 6 more, well, like finish this house and then 6 more houses, and then I can start the water and the ships and the whale. So really, really pleased with this. I debated that yellow house. I'm not sure, maybe it's too bright. I don't know. I may actually end up changing that, but for now, I'm going to leave it until it's done and see how I feel about the whole overall look. I'm using DMC threads for this, and this is on 28 count Ale, Lugana. Love the color. And the whale, of course, she charted it in Fancy Flosses. And I have very few fancy flosses, definitely not enough to do the whale, but I would like to do the whale in the variegation to give a little bit of interest there. But I don't know of any place here in Nova Scotia that I can buy fancy floss, and I figured I would order it. But I was in, I should say I didn't know, I was on the South Shore in Lunenburg in Mahone Bay one day, and a stitch friend, Heather Rayfuse, had told me sometime maybe in the winter that Heidi, I can't remember her last name. Heidi has a beautiful fabric wool shop there just in Mahone Bay. So I thought of that while we were over there, and Heather had told me that she had some variegated flosses. So I went in, and she has Valdani flosses and 3-ply threads and whatnot. So I looked at her threads, what she had. She doesn't have a lot, but a little bit. And this gray is very similar to what the chart calls for the whale. Let me see if I can. So you see. So I think that she had a couple of grays, but I think this is going to be the best bet. I'm not positive. I may change my mind once I start, but for now, that's what I'm going to try, and we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to getting to that stage. But I knew I would leave the whale to the end so that I would be able to order what I wanted to do it with. So, and my last cross stitch whip is my Summer House Trio, and I have had a little bit of progress on that. Last time I had this to show, I had this little vine here just started. I didn't have any of the flowers, so the flowers, the birdhouse, the bird, the sun, this, I think this is just like clouds kind of thing, and the house, I didn't have any of that done, so I'm really pleased with how that's coming, and wouldn't take a whole lot more to get that finished. Love it. So cute. That's 18 count Ada, and I'm not sure what the name is. So that's what I had to show you for cross stitch today. I'm trying, last video was almost 50 minutes, I think, and it took forever to upload. So I actually didn't think it was going to work. I thought I was going to have to do it again, but it did. Eventually it worked. And so this week I'm trying to not show as much. But that is what I had to work on. So I'm going to move on to quilting. If you're not interested in the quilting, and thank you so much for joining me. I am going to do a giveaway at the end, so you might want to stick around. I have a giveaway, I have two giveaways, one for quilters and one for cross stitchers. So I won't be long with the quilting if you want to stick around. So I had three little finishes in my quilting stuff this week. I love to make pincushions, love them, and I love to have the pincushion patterns available. So this is going to be my latest pattern. It's not written yet, but I finished these on Saturday, and I've been making these for a couple of years. Oh, longer than that, really. They're really fun to make, easy to make, and they have a little yo-yo and a button on the back. So they are really fun to make. Scraps, just use up some scraps. So anyway, that pattern I hope will be available in the next week or so. But definitely by the time I film my next video, it should be up and running. So watch for that if you're interested. I did have a chance to make a few more red sampler blocks for the Lori Holt red sampler So Long from her books. Show you, I think I have 5 new blocks. And you may remember when I showed them before, I had a bunch of blocks from her books that I had started last year and abandoned that because I was doing a Christmas quilt for myself and then decided on a different pattern. So I decided to wait on how many of her new blocks I was going to make because I wanted to be able to use all the old ones that I had made first. So this was one of my new ones. This one. Those were the 2 6-inch blocks, and then these are my 12-inch blocks, new 12-inch blocks. And this one. And this one incorporates that stripe again. I have used the stripe a couple of times in the other blocks and wanted to use it again, and I will probably use it again. So those are a few more red blocks for my sampler. Looking forward to having that finished. I think in my first video I showed you this runner that I had recently finished, and I told you that I would have a pattern available for it eventually. So it's all bound now, and the pattern is written, and it's on the market, ready to go. And I struggle with names, but I really like an original name for my patterns. So I have a great love for A Christmas Carol, the story of Christmas Carol. One of our favorite things to do at Christmas time is watch every version that we can watch between mid-November and Christmas, and even after Christmas we watch it. We love it. My husband and I both love it. And on my bucket list, a few years ago decided I needed or wanted to try to get involved in local amateur theater. We went often to see what was to the plays and local things like that when I was younger, or when we were younger. And I've always had a love of that. And on my bucket list, I knew someday I had to try that. So a few years ago, I got into local theater. I absolutely love it. It's a big commitment, takes a lot of time, but it's so much fun. So 1 year, maybe 2 years, I played Mrs. Cratchit in A Christmas Carol, and I loved it. I was just thrilled to be in that play. Anyway, I decided to name this little runner for Mrs. Cratchit for A Christmas Carol. So this runner is called Mrs. Cratchit's Christmas Runner. And it says here, Mrs. Cratchit from A Christmas Carol was by no means a wealthy lady, but I'm sure she did her very best to make Christmas special for her family. She could easily have pieced together some scrap fabrics to create a beautiful runner just like this one for her family Christmas meal. So this is Mrs. Cratchit's Christmas Runner, and it's available in my Etsy shop now as a paper pattern, which I mail out, or a PDF, and I will put the link for the Etsy shop in the show notes below. So anyway, really pleased with the name and how it turned out. And a big thank you once again to Lisa Potter for her beautiful quilting. And the last quilt I wanted to show you is called Turn Me Loose. Again, it's another name. I'm trying to come up with original names. It's a churn dash pattern, and so I wanted to do a play on words, something to do with churn. And so often, you know, it's typical for it to be churn, about the butter churn and all that. But anyway, I love to use song titles or a play on song titles in my pattern names. And turn me loose. So anyway, so this is Turn Me Loose. This was when I had the shop. We did a block of the week program, and this was a 52-week block challenge. So many people would say to me, "Oh, I don't have time to sew. I've let it go. I don't have time to sew." So I came up with this 1 block a week challenge. I'm going to stand up and you can see this better. So they're all churn dash blocks, and the challenge was 1 block a week for 52 weeks, and you would have a beautiful quilt finished at the end of that. So we did that for 5 or 6 years in the shop, but that was the first one we did in 2015, I think. And I posted that challenge on my Instagram and Facebook too, and lots of people from all over were doing that. It was a really fun program. And that pattern now is published and available in my Etsy shop too, also as a paper pattern or a PDF. So if you're interested in that, you can see that there. It is 56.5 inches square. So that's what I have for quilting and cross stitch today, and I'm going to do a giveaway. So, oh, where did I put that? For the quilting, I'm going to give away a copy of Mrs. Cratchit's Christmas Runner, and you can have a paper pattern, or I can email you a PDF, whichever you prefer. So going to do that. If you're interested in that, you can use the word runner in your comment. Let me re-say this. If you want to put your name in for the draw to win today's giveaways, you have to be over 18. You have to subscribe to my channel, you have to like the video, and you have to comment below with whichever one of these words. Or both, if you want, if you're interested in winning both. So if you're interested in winning the runner, you need to say the word runner, the runner pattern. So you need to say the word runner in your comment below, and that is 16 by 48 inches if you're interested in that. And if you are interested in the cross stitch, oh, and don't say giveaway or prize or anything like that in your comment, because that is a word that people who are just fishing for freebies on the internet will search for. So I really hope that someone who actually wants to make these things will win them, and not just somebody who wants to resell them. So this is Ye Old Crow by Heart and Hand. I showed you this as a full finish a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of videos ago. And when I stitched this has, ooh, don't want to show you the chart. There are three tiny little buttons in there that I didn't use. I used them, but I had 3 tiny little buttons in my stash. So I was able to keep everything intact in the pattern, and I never hurt the pattern in any way. So that is my giveaway for the cross stitchers. I love, love, love these patterns. Her designs for these birds are so cute. And I have the red one in my cart for my next order. So, like I said, if you want to win this, you need to use the word crow in your comment below. Crow. And I will draw for that before my next video, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. So anyway, the runner, if you're interested in the runner, say the word runner. If you're interested in the crow, say the word crow. And I think that's everything for today. I kept it to right around 30 minutes, which is much better. It'll upload much faster. So I hope you all have a great day, a great week. If it's very hot where you are, I hope you get some relief from that. I can't believe we're partway into August already. It doesn't seem possible that summer is on the downward slide. We are going camping in a couple of weeks. I can't wait. It's just been too long since we've been able to go. So we're going away for a few nights to the Ketchimpkoojik National Park here in Nova Scotia, which is very dear to my heart. So I will have lots of stitching time around the campfire there, and that is the week I think typically that I would be filming, I think. But so I may come to you a little sooner or a little later than what I have been trying to do because of that. I may even come to you from the campground. Who knows? That would be fun. So if you are enduring smoke from the wildfires from all over everywhere, I hope that you are safe and well, and that I can't imagine what you're going through if you're in that area. We watch it on the news every day, and it's just so traumatic, and I can't imagine. It's terrible. So many people have lost their homes, lost their livelihood, and we had a huge fire here. It must be 3 weeks or a month ago now, at a local molding plant. My brother-in-law worked there, and he also was one of the firemen that got called to that fire. A lot of people lost their jobs temporarily because they are going to rebuild, but it was a really huge fire. There were 22 fire departments there fighting it. I've never heard of that in this area before, having to have that many departments there to fight a fire. So I was able to go and sit with my sister while her husband and her son and her son-in-law were there fighting fire, and it was a pretty traumatic night for anybody that was involved in any way. So that was just really, in the big scope of things, minor compared to what you who are dealing with those wildfires are dealing with. You've lost your homes, and I just can't imagine. My heart goes out to you. I pray for you and for anyone that's involved in fighting in any way and trying to keep everyone safe. And anyway, I wish you all, like I said, a very happy couple of weeks, lots of stitching time, and enjoy what's left of summer. Bye.